What's up, everybody? How you doing? Ryan Knapton here, and I actually just restocked stickers. I make them myself, just didn't have time, but white ones are back in stock, and yep, plenty of stickers. So link in description if you're interested in some next level stickers. Helps your snowboarding 10%, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's 20%, I don't even know. But I also got a new snowboard, and the construction of it is, I am pretty sure they had to cut down one of the old growth largest redwood trees there are to make this board happen. And for the edges, I would assume that they melted down the finest Japanese katana swords and Klingon batliths and blended those to make the sharpest, nicest edges for exactly what I do. So the specs, I went beast mode on this. We always recommend, you know, moving up if you're carving hard and wanting to carve deeper and hitting your toes or heels. We recommend going wider and stuff, but these are kind of crazy specs. So I went 158. So 158 centimeters, I went down just 1 centimeter in length, and that actually makes buttering quite a bit easier, even though the distance, that's a 1% difference essentially from where my bindings are to the nose and tail. So I was thinking, will it be 1% easier to butter? Nope, it's about quite a bit easier to butter, just because it has the balance point is closer to my bindings. So just think about that when you are when you're thinking about buying snowboards, because if you go shorter, it's going to be more nimble, more easy to butter, and if you go longer, it's going to feel less nimble, but you'll have more edge hold while carving. So there's always a trade-off like that, and it just depends on how you want to snowboard to decide what's best for you. And you know, just trying a bunch is probably the best way to choose that too. Waist width, I jumped up to 32.2. My last handful of boards have been 31.2. A function of increasing the side cut radius is the underfoot width then gets narrower. So with going up in radius again on this one, I had to go a little wider so I wouldn't be hitting my toes or heels when I'm on soft snow conditions when I'm carving hard. You know, it wasn't really much of a problem, but on super soft snow I could still hit my toes or heels more than I wanted. So moved up on that. And then radius, I went to an 18-meter radius, a 9% increase. So, you know, it's not crazy difference. The first time that I went from an 8.7 meter radius to a 9.8, that's when I thought I made a mistake, because what's that, an 18% or 22% increase? And I had to basically relearn how to turn a little bit, because I wasn't used to the larger carved turn shape that it makes. So there's a bit about the specs. And old boards, nope, I don't sell them, but I have never broken one or anything. I keep them and bring them to the Donic demos at Nationals. So if you ever want to try out any of my old personal boards, you are welcome to if you show up there. So hopefully see you there. And you know what, let's go make some turns and think of a random tip for you. Let's go with a little safety tip. A minute ago, there's a ton of skiers and riders coming down all at once, and they're so close to each other for the speeds that they were riding. So just way too sketchy on that. So especially if you're making real turns at all, just make sure you wait till your windows are open, no one's coming down behind you, bombing down behind you, and that you give space to everyone else too. Another great tip for Vail Resorts specifically is download the Epic Mix app, and you can find out what chairlifts are too busy. It started to get busy. Dakota texted me, hey, the lift lines got bad, so I just looked at the app and I'm going to go to a chair that essentially has no line versus one of the ones with like a 15-minute line. Easy peasy there, right? Also, through the app and other resorts, you can call ski patrol instantly. When I watched the guy die, I was, boom, within 10 seconds I probably had ski patrol on the line. I've seen numerous other accidents. A guy taking off one of the big jumps at Breck, two flat base, backside, went for a backside 180. He only rotated 90 degrees, caught his heel side edge, overshot the jump too, instantly destroyed. So instantly, boom, call ski patrol, and he was getting hauled off in no time at all. So good little lap. A lot of resorts have something similar too. So Dakota, he just came down here. He's on a Knapton twin. What specs are you on?
I'm on the 157 long, 28 and a half waist, and 11 meter side cut.
How do you like it?
It's absolutely amazing. I'm ready for the next one.
Cool. He's on 11 meter radius. He did demo some bigger radius ones last year. That's kind of how he knew he could move up. And but yeah, he's making very nice turns on it. Let me tape a couple of your turns.
Sure.
Cool. Alright, I'm going to put away the camera here and do some shredding for myself. But first I want to thank Sean Martin and the build team at Donnick Snowboards for making my dream boards over and over and over again, and giving me boards that I can progress with as I get better and better at this carving stuff. So definitely a whole next level experience with using Donnick Snowboards and being able to customize your own specs rather than just something off the shelf. And if you want to go a little wider, then you have to go a ton longer or something like that. So mad thanks to Donnick Snowboards. Also, big thanks to West Beach. Sent me some nice jackets, and got some stuff in store with them in the future. So stay tuned for that. Too early to talk about it because this is a while off, but getting the ball rolling with it. But I see they have a bunch of jackets for sale. So if you like this one, I love it. It's got a big, nice, wide cuffs. That's one of my main complaints about jackets. Just sleeves that aren't long enough and cuffs that aren't wide enough to slide my gloves under. So check them out. I'll put a link in the description to West Beach Clothing, one of the oldest snowboard clothing companies in existence. I think they started up in 1979. So let's go over to the factory, and here's the interview with Sean Martin about side cut radii. Look at this pretty Donnick at the Donnick factory. They just shut off the machines for the day. Here with Sean Martin. I'm getting a new board. 18 meter radius. Sean, let's talk to people out of getting big radiuses, because whenever I talk to people who want specs, they want the same specs as me. This I couldn't have been able to ride a couple of years ago. I would have ran off the runs. Even my 16.5, first turn of the year, I fell because I got locked in on an edge, wasn't going fast enough, didn't have my knees bent enough, and fell. So usually we recommend for freestyle snowboards, we're starting around an 8.7 meter radius, depending on conditions you ride, where you ride, all this stuff. What's the downfall of too big of a radius that you see?
So here's what's going to happen. When you make a bigger radius on the board, you have to tip the board to a steeper angle. Now, all you guys with big feet or who are trying to carve are trying to tip the board to a steeper angle to begin with. So let's say we make it possible by making the board wide enough for your 11 foot to tip it to about 45 degrees. If you go to a longer side cut radius, in order to make the same turn, now you've got to tip it even further, which means you've defeated the purpose of going wide. You're starting to engage your toes and your heels in the snow before you're making the turn you want to make. So it is a very, very bad idea to go this big for, I would say, 90% of the people out there. You want to be in an 8.7 to 9.5 meters. That is a very good sweet spot if you have a foot bigger than, say, 10 or 11. If you're down at Ryan's size, where you got a size 8 foot, well then, yeah, you can go pretty much hog wild. But you guys with size 15 feet, you're just hurting yourselves.
Yeah. And even so, my size foot, basically you wouldn't want a bigger radius until you're making turns or you 100% know it's a single pencil line clean track, and you want that to be a bigger pencil line track. It's not going to cut as quick. But the downside of that, you're also any buttering stuff, you got to go higher speeds to actually make it work, and you have to tilt the hell out of it to make it cut.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I've been carving, what, for 30 years? Longer than Ryan, I think.
Yeah.
I ride a 9-meter side cut radius on hard boots.
Yep.
And that's teeny for hard boots,
Yep.
but you know,
And
I can tip that board way over on edge. I can ride some of the steepest groomed terrain in the area, and I don't need to go longer.
Yep. And so with this 18-meter radius, that's almost more like one of the GS boards.
That is a GS side cut.
And then the
totally.
the GS, it's actually going to make smaller turns, in my opinion, because the width of the stances are much narrower. So you're decambering the board towards the middle of the board, getting a lot more bend, and that's going to make an easier, sharper turn than if you have a wide stance like mine.
Yeah, narrowing your stance can be a huge benefit if you're having a difficulty bending your board. So if you have a board that feels really stiff to you, narrow your stance up. It's going to bend more. It's simple mechanics as far as grab your board, push it in the middle, have somebody else grab the ends and push out near the ends where your feet are. You're going to find that you can't bend that board. That's what's happening when you find a board feels stiff that is really noodly. You're standing too far apart.
Yep, you can see it a mile away too when people are on the mountain with their stance so wide they just can't actually put any pressure towards the middle of their board, so it just doesn't work too well. Sean, it looks like you've been busy as hell. When I walked in here, a bunch of new employees even, and all the machines are running.
We have moved from 4 employees on the floor last season to 6 this year. We are breaking a record as far as the number of boards we've built in the last year. I'm not going to tell you what that volume is because I don't want people to know too much. But yeah, we're going out to dinner on Tuesday night to celebrate where we're at right now because we have done so many boards this year.
Awesome, man. You are making terrific boards because I've had so many people emailing me, sending pictures on Instagram and stuff of how much they love their boards. So
Yeah.
you're doing a beautiful job, and it's so awesome what the specs you can dial in. On this one, I wanted 0.5 centimeter shorter, or 1 centimeter shorter, and he's able to do it. That's why I did the previous board too. It's all just in the computers and then letting the machines do the work.
Yep, we got a new CNC router we're putting together that's going to probably increase our core production capacity by at least 60 to 70% next season. And that's because we have hit the wall as far as how many boards we can build right now in a day. And by adding that CNC, we're going to be able to probably bump that capacity up by 60 to 80%.
Cool. Well, we rambled on a bit more than just side cut there, but yeah, thank you all for watching. Happy shred, and thank you so much, Sean.
Yep.